Machine says it's going live. And if the interwebs are alive and active tonight, this will go. Hello, everyone. This is our Bible study tonight from Acts 18. And this is after the Apostle Paul makes a defense of the Christian faith in Athens. And what was noted this past weekend is that he makes a presentation appealing to the God of nature and creation. He makes an appeal to what people would know inherently, in that their own culture is committed to worship, in quotes, but there is a religious devotion that seems to be imprinted upon us. He would quote their own poets and philosophers, and he would certainly speak of Jesus Christ being the one with whom we all must have to go through to know the true God of the universe. He clues in on the inscription to an idol, the unknown God, and he says, "Oh, that one God, that's the God you know who's really there, and I'm going to tell you about him." And he has a pretty the threefold response to a good presentation: mockery, politeness, and belief. So again, there wasn't a notation of baptisms in Athens. And as I'm going through the book of Acts, beginning to wonder perhaps that if Paul didn't anticipate staying in a place for a while, he didn't do the baptisms. But if he, I'm developing a theory. But if he intended to stay for several months and establish a church, that there would be more of an inclination to baptize people, set people apart. So Philippi, he baptizes this woman right away, Lydia. I don't know if he intended to stay there long term, but this is the first baptism in Europe. It seems sort of significant. He's also baptizing someone who's the head of a household as a woman, so there's boundaries being broken. And then we start thinking about all the different locations that he goes after Philippi, and we don't really see anyone coming in through baptism, but we're getting belief in Thessalonica, in Berea, in Athens. We got people believing in these places. But now he's done with Athens, and he's going to make his way to Corinth. And we've been sort of alluding to the fact, compare the cities. How does one city treat the apostles, the missionary team, as opposed to another city? And there's always natural rivalries between cities. When we first got here to Tennessee, we learned that there's a rivalry between Memphis and Nashville. I don't know if you guys know about it. We thought we picked that up, that there was some kind of a Memphis, I guess, had its heyday, was really the terminal location for what happened along the river, but it seems like Nashville, seat of government, sort of eclipsed. A lot more business going to Nashville. Their freeways are way crowded. Sports teams, hockey, basketball, soccer. You don't care about that. Well, anyway, Corinth was a bigger city than Athens, very much so, and was not known for necessarily what Athens was known for, as being on the cutting edge of thought and arts and architecture. Corinth was an industrial town. It was a port city of commerce completely. It was a city of commerce and had international travel going through. It was a much more diverse international city in that respect. But we're going to learn about that. And I thought this week what I would do is to go, oh, to the wrong passage, to the Net Bible. I use this as a resource because it has a lot of helpful notes and comments. You can see that on all of these, I've got this pumped up to the biggest font size I could so you can really see it. But every one of those numbers is an allusion to a Bible note that you can read on the side. A lot of the Bible notes, and it's a little tedious after a while, is because they have their agenda. And I think their agenda is to put the Bible on the net and to make it really accessible. But a lot of these little number systems here that are footnoted to a Bible commentary, a lot of them have to do with this word isn't in the original. We're just putting this word in here to clarify what's going on. It's a lot of we're clarifying. I don't know why it's jumping around like a dog, though. I don't know. Am I not? I don't know why it doesn't want to respond to me. There we go. Okay, maybe something's hanging up my computer. We just finished our family's taxes on it, so maybe we taxed the computer. It's a mess. So what's a neat thing that'll happen here is I'll get notes and articles, and it's very searchable. But and it's not doing it right now. Oh, there it is. So if you scroll over the Greek word, look what pops up. It really helps you out. And then you can also see very much, like I said, they're very upfront and honest about the changes that they make. One of the most famous ones is whenever it says brothers, they'll always write and sisters. And then they'll put the note there, we've added sisters because brothers would have included everyone in the church, those types of things. But so I wanted to do the little Greek introduction before we went through the passage. So that's easy, meta. We know the word meta from metamorphosis, meaning a change, some kind of a change is taking place. Repentance is to be metanoia, to have a change in your thoughts. Here, meta is being used for after. So after this, and then here's this word about going someplace, choristheus. Ek means out of, from, Athens. Boy, this thing is just slow. It was not doing this earlier. It would just nail these things. So he's going to leave from Athens, and he's going to go into Ice, Corinthon. And there again, you can see the dependence on the letter kappa, K, but the Latin also has C as a hard letter, not as a sound like we do. So many of the words that we like Caesar, we say Caesar, but that's not the word, it's Kaiser. So it's replete when you read through the Greek, and I think I've pretty much beat that one down. Kai is and, we're on, and we're going, a certain one, I'm sorry it's not responding, who was Jewish, the name of Aquilon. And this is the person we know as Aquila. Let's see if I can. Ooh, I had never even thought about that. You think Pontius Pilate was from Pontius too? That would make sense to me. I've never had that run through me. Something for us to research. Well, here we are at Ponticon. Aquilon, we call him Aquila in the English. He is from Pontius, Ponticon. Ponticon? Oh, no, okay.
Just differentiating between the two words,
Okay. And the definite article is after the word and Gene, which is the word Genesis, he came from, and they say, well, this makes him a native of. Um, and he came recently, coming from the, and I wish the computer, I guess maybe pumping up the font size has just freaked out my computer. From Italy, Italius, and Priscilla, whom we say in the English Bible. You see their name is spelt differently. Gynake, his wife. Through or because the diatekane Claudion. So here's a reference to a Caesar we were just talking about. Claudius Caesar gave a commandment. And what was his commandment? You guys know about this? Yeah, that the Jews were supposed to depart from Rome. And there it is. Jews, right here, Judias, apo, from the Romus. That P is actually the rho, it's a capital R, Romus. And Paul approached them. So this is the meeting of Paul with Priscilla and Aquila. And I'm just sorry that just such the program is dogged with me. But that does bring up the whole idea of this expulsion from Rome. And why it's important is for historians is that Luke mentions a specific incident. And then we have Roman writers who also reference the same incident. And I know that I go to Wikipedia a lot, and there's criticism of Wikipedia, but the reason I do go to it is because it's super accessible to everyone. And there is the mention on this article is that there's been 2 previous dates and the Jews have been expelled from Rome for different occasions that a Caesar came to power and said, I don't want the Jews here. And this is now the 3rd time the Jews have been expelled from Rome for some reason. And the prevailing attitude was that the Jews in Rome were being, they were like proselytizing. They were trying to get people to become Jews, which doesn't always sound like a Jewish thing. But there was enough influence on the society that the Jews are having, and the Caesars were thinking, I don't need this kind of influence in my town. I'm going to tell these people who are different than we that they can't be in our capital city anymore. They can do whatever they're doing somewhere else. Well, if you emphasize education and frugality and you have a family structure that is committed to, raising children appropriately, there happens to be blessings of life that comes out of that sort of a approach to the world. There's a lot to be said for areas that have broken families and why there's not prosperity in those places. And, the Jewish people would eschew anything related to pornography. They would avoid anything connected to addictions. They had a 10 Commandments type of life, and the 10 Commandments say you do these things, you'll live long and prosper in the land that the Lord your God has given you. So